What do you think, about her delivery? I mean, do you think everything she said is a reason enough for a woman to masturbate?
I think that we need to look at this holistically, right?
Okay.
There are multiple factors why people do what they do.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
Their thinking, their emotions, and their behavior.
Okay.
That is what psychology is.
Okay.
Right? And there are 4 basic reasons why people want to masturbate.
Okay.
The first one is to satisfy a need. Their need of love, need of care, and some affection. Because masturbation gives you a certain false sense of want, need.
Okay.
So some people would masturbate because there's some need they have. The second has to do with pleasure.
Pleasure, okay.
And there are some research findings and some people's experience that states that masturbation produces a more intense orgasm than normal sex. The reason is that when people masturbate, they know where to stimulate. That would help them have a certain heightened feeling that produces a certain level of orgasm.
Okay.
And for that one, that is why normally, for what she was saying, in marriage, you normally have to discuss what makes you feel better and what makes you feel that get into that heightened state in order for you to have a better orgasm. Because their research has shown that a lot of women who don't get there with their partners.
Okay.
So men easily get there, women don't. And that can be a problem. And so people masturbate because of the feeling of pleasure. The other one has to do with coping. They use masturbation to cope with their problems.
Okay.
And generally, because of all the hormonal changes and all the things that are associated with masturbation, people are able to distress. People are able to get over their anxieties. They relax better when they masturbate.
What effect can masturbation cause in the life of young girls and boys below 10 years old if they practice it? Can masturbation bring any positive effects in human life at all?
For children, I said that children masturbate out of ignorance and innocence.
Okay.
And at certain stage, they derive pleasure from their genitals and their anal area.
Okay.
And if that practice continues, they can also get addicted. And for children, they can get into other stuff which they may not even know the damaging effect of that.
Oh, okay.
So you may have children who are practicing some sexual stuff because they are also addicted to, sometimes we underestimate the potentials of children. And we think that they cannot get addicted to things, but some of them do.
Masturbation is a sinful act because my teacher told us when we were at basic school that when you want to abstain from sex, the right thing to do is to masturbate. That is interesting.
I mean, talk to that.
Yes,
yeah, sure.
See, abstinence is not first physical.
Okay.
It's first a decision. And when I decide to do something, you don't see it.
Okay.
There's a whole process that goes into it between my ears. So if I decide to stand up, that decision I took, you don't see it with your physical eyes. It goes on in my head. So when you say you want to abstain from sex, your first point of solution is not to say that you start touching yourself.
So let me just stop up. Masturbation in marriage affects marriage if especially it's involved one person.
Okay.
Because the feeling that I'm there, why is this guy masturbating? Tends to devalue the other person, and it creates a whole problems, conflicts in the house.
Okay,
yes.
all right, thank you very much. How can one avoid masturbation after practicing it for some period of time, and what are some of the psychological and emotional effects of been doing it for a period of time?
So basically, there are 5 things. Let me quickly run through. Right?
Okay.
Basically, the first step is that you need to have a right perspective about your situation. You need to one perspective is that I have a problem.
Okay.
I'm addicted, I need help.
Yeah.
And another thing too, especially if the person is very religious, you need to have a perspective that God is not angry with you, but God is concerned. The moment you think God is angry, it stops you from seeking Him. So develop a certain good perspective about it. And you are not a bad person because you're addicted. You're a good person who has a problem.
Okay.
The next P has to do with privacy. Addiction thrives in privacy.
Yeah.
The moment you break privacy, you tell another person who can help you. It's the first step to recovery.